What did your crush do that absolutely killed your interest? This was in college. We were acquaintances and had a few classes together. He was cute, funny, and I totally had a crush on him. He asked me out to dinner and a movie. At the restaurant he ordered the most expensive things on the menu. Apps, drinks, lobster, and even dessert. When the bill came he said, "You got this, right?" I was so embarrassed I paid. Then I said I'd skip the movie because I wasn't feeling well, and he asked me to give him $20 for gas and for wasting his time. I didn't and just left. Ugh. After that he couldn't seem to understand why I didn't want to go out with him again. I was giving her a place to sleep when she was feuding with her mother. After weeks of picking up after her, I dared to complain. She had a screaming fit, packed up her crap and left. I was glad to be rid of her, until later it got around to me that she was telling people on FB that I kicked her out for refusing to give me a blowjob. There is a lot I can forgive, but that was the first time I had ever had anyone just straight up make stuff up about me. Duck you. Why are you leaving a tip? Me, because the service was really good. But she's fat. Bragged about drinking and driving. He told me that he and his friends have a nothing under 100 club where they drink and then drive on the interstate going 100+ miles per hour and have to send a full-length Snapchat video of the speedometer to each other. 2 of my friends had been killed by a drunk driver 3 months prior. Oh god, that's awful. We went to Disneyland, where I had an annual pass with my friends and family for an event called Dapper Day, where you dress up in dapper clothing so everything looks very old to me. I had done it for years with my friends and he wanted to come, and my mom and siblings were going for the first time too. I was really excited as it was the first time he had ever met my family. Well, we went on one ride with my family and my friends, and then he said, "Do you want to go on a ride just me and you?" I thought we'd come back and spend the rest of the day with them, but as soon as we were out of earshot he was complaining about my family and how weird it was that they were there, and he wanted to do Disney with just me, but he had known they were coming, so I was confused. Then we went on one more ride and he started complaining about how hot it was, how tired he was, and before lunch he wanted to go home. I was super upset, but didn't want him leaving on his own, so I just went with him. But on the way home I wished I had just let him leave, and I could have stayed with all the people I loved. It was the first time in years my sister and my mom had been to Disney and I didn't know it then, but it was the last time I got to go with my brothers before they grew up, and now they hate me. He was just some dude I dated, not a boyfriend or anything that lasted very long. I'm still so mad at myself for letting him ruin my day, but yeah, it absolutely killed anything I felt for him, and we broke up a few days later. Revealed his list of conquests. Not even my brother knows how many women I've slept with. Then he offered to take my virginity in the back of his pickup truck. I passed. I'm black. She's black. Our crush was mutual. Then she found out that I was once in a relationship with a white woman. She then jumped down a rabbit's hole of my betrayal of the black family and some other nonsense of my trauma of self-hatred. Never been turned off by anything faster than that. We were in the process of getting together. She had called over and we spent an afternoon watching movies and sitting close together. By about 8 in the evening she was considering staying later and I was casually encouraging her. She asked if she could take a shower, and I was like, yeah, sure, of course. Glad that the bathroom was clean and tidy and I had fresh towels. Anyway, about 4 minutes later she calls me saying she needs help with the shower, and I give her a moment to get a towel around herself and knock on the bathroom door. She opens it completely naked and shows me that she's having trouble with the shower controls. So I'm kinda unsure whether to make the move or start with the controls, so I go with the flow and show her this is hot and cold, this is pressure, this is rainforest, and this is power jets. In the 5 seconds it takes me to do this, she has sat on the toilet, which is kinda a weird thing because I need to be able to make the next move, and she's sitting on the toilet, naked, with the lid up, looking all disinterested. him thinking I've screwed it up when suddenly kersplosh, and she takes a dump right in front of me, and then another one. I was just I'll leave you to it. She asked if things didn't work out, if I would mind if she went out with my roommate. I said I couldn't possibly do that to him and left. He tried to discreetly take photos of my feet. Nothing against people who are into that, but the way he was going about it was super creepy. She asked me if I was good with kids because she was pregnant with her ex and that's just not good with kids. It was the first date. No way dude. What was your response? I told her that I'm not comfortable raising a child that isn't mine and that it's not gonna work out. After my response she lost her shit screaming that I was a heartless piece of shit and that all men are the same. We were teenagers. He lived in a different province and we used to chat on Skype. He wanted me to think he was a badass or something and would always talk about his drug use. He ended up faking a heroin overdose when we were on chat together. I was hysterically crying and freaking out thinking I was watching someone dying and was trying to figure out how to call 911 in another province when he snapped out of it and told me he was actually okay. I didn't talk to him much after that. Stole from a homeless person. We were walking together downtown and she saw a bucket of coins in front of a pharmacy. She just scooped it all up and kept walking. Guy comes out as she's 20 feet away or so and yells at her. She keeps moving. I stood there and just gave him a $20 and didn't hang out with her anymore. We were 14 and 15. She said I smile too much. Duck you. I smile when I want to. I try to find joy. Kept arranging times to talk and whatnot. Then always forgot or was not available. Bullied the quiet kid in our class. Turned out to be the person eating everyone else's food from the break room fridge. His sister actually approached me and let me know that he was once arrested for locking their other pregnant sister in their basement. Went on a coke binge while she desperately tried to get out and went outside to beat their unsuspecting neighbor's van with a golf club. That was a big ol' nope. Kissed me and then, after he pulled away, told me he has a girlfriend. Yee. I don't get washing. I just don't really like taking a shower or a bath or anything. Placed the tip on the table before we'd received service. Before using it as a threat. Real ugly. This was years ago. On a first date. Tried to convince me to quit my job and put all my savings into gold bars. Then demanded I'll let him read my tarot cards to see if we'd be a good fit. Nope. Had a crush on this girl back in high school. She seemed like a sweet girl. After she rejected me, I let it go, but still was interested in maintaining some sort of friendship. Found out she was actually pretty toxic behind my back. She made fun of me for a lot of things that really didn't matter, like hand motions while talking, and I just lost interest in her entirely, even in a friendship. Huge crush on a fellow uni student. I was invited over for what I expected to be a platonic study date, but hey, any time spent is better than just being alone, or so I thought. Got there and found another student from class also. Okay, study group. Turns out her mom and her set us up for a full press MLM pitch. Video, literature, the works. I stayed a bit not to be rude. Excused myself shortly and only talked to her in class, just in passing from then on. Huge letdown. Edit. MLM means multi-level marketing. Aka a pyramid scheme. Signing up to both buy and sell something while recruiting others to sell also. You get a percent of all of your recruits' sales also. All the percentages basically flow upward. So the only way to make any significant money is to be high in the tree, towards the top of the pyramid. It's all bullshit. Basically. Talked non-stop about himself and his accomplishments, and never asked me one question about myself. Told me he was only being nice to me because he was interested in a friend of mine. I see his Facebook posts now. He is dumber than a box of rocks on a treadmill. She slept with my dad. That has to be the shortest answer. and somehow still the biggest red flag. She got blackout drunk at a party and violently shat her pants. The smell alone completely turned me off of any interest I had. Blamed the world for all his problems. Nothing was ever his fault. When I was a teenager we worked together as lifeguards. I adored him so much until one day he just starts talking about this random woman that he didn't know and wasn't even there that was wearing shorts. He said he was fine until she sat down and had some cellulite on her thighs. And he kept being angry and talking about how she should be doing squats to be more appealing. Like, his rant was angry and long and no one was adding to his conversation. Just silence. After that I took off my rose-colored glasses and saw that he was, in fact, a huge douchebag. I'm kinda grateful he showed himself that way, cause I was really into him until then. Could have been a bad time for my teenage brain. He picked me up for our first date and his car was disgusting. Not talking a few trash items. The entire backseat and floorboard was completely covered in piled up trash. Even up front. I had to step on empty McDonald's bags, old soda bottles, wrappers etc to even get in. And all he said was, just move it around with your feet. No sorry or anything. Made me feel like trash too. Like dang. Couldn't even clean up a little? Dumped me after 9 months because she wasn't ready for a serious relationship. Got into a relationship the next day and was married within 5 months. Told me that she didn't like me back anymore, but maybe if I waited long enough she would like me like that again. Edit. She told me that I had gotten more critical lately and I changed. So she wanted me to change back before she would be with me. Too critical about every word I uttered under the name of sarcasm. Light the back fence of the school on fire to impress him. He did. Should add that he did it whilst high. Weed is not legal here in Australia yet. Basically shut me down and made it clear to me that I was being the typical nice guy cliche. This is back when I was about 20. After a couple of days of socking, I started examining my behavior and realized she was absolutely right. Glad it happened. My ideas of how a relationship should work were entirely twisted at the time. I got my shit together shortly after, addressed my stupid and entitled behavior, worked on myself, mentally and physically, and eventually met an amazing woman who is now my wife. Scary to look back and think how close I got to becoming one of those incel neckbed types. I'll kiss you, but I'd never date you. FKU. Told me he liked dating broken girls so he could fix them. See ya later. Boner. Talked shit about every woman in his life. Should have seen the red flags earlier. Didn't realize until later that he probably did the same to me. Apparently having an opinion about anything and speaking for yourself isn't a very ladylike thing to do. She invited me over to her place, not as a date thing, but just to hang out as friends. Her house was absolutely filthy and the glass of coke she gave me had a hair in it. She was really cute, had a great personality, and was a genuinely nice person. But as soon as I saw cat shit on the floor near the front door and just dirty everything, my crush disappeared, and I left in a hurry. Well, it turns out he wasn't interested in girls, so I knew I had to kill my feelings, or feel stupid for keeping them. Said she was stirring up a group for LGBT youth. I asked her why, and then realized I had been barking up the wrong tree. Told me I wasn't attractive, and that she could never possibly like me. Game over. Dude was the perfect epitome of the term douchebag. He used to be nice to people only to gain their trust and then betray them. He was attractive though, and a smooth talker as well. We started talking, became friends, and I developed a crush on him. Unfortunately, I never knew then what type of double-headed snake he was. Then on one day I witnessed him throwing his best friend under the bus just to save his reputation. Completely lost interest, cut ties with him, and he gave no shit about it. Only then did I realize how toxic people can be sometimes. Edit. Grammar. Started gaming with him and learned that he threw tantrums worthy of a toddler when losing matches. through my $2,000 laptop through my new big screen TV. We were going on a date, and when we were just next to the cinema she found her friend and she went with her instead. She detested cats and insisted that I give up my furry buddy before she'd move in with me. It wasn't that she was allergic to cats. She issued the ultimatum because, according to her, my cat received too much of my time and affection, and she wasn't going to compete. We played Monopoly. That game brings out the absolute worst in people. Being rude to the waiter and complain that food is taking too long during dinner rush hour. I work in the industry for a year. It's not easy when being slammed during rush. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.